1130 podcast. Hey, where you was when a nigga was where they was at, man? I was on my ass. You tell me. I was stuck in a tree, ain't nobody help me out. Ain't nobody help me down. Let's get going places that you never seen. You think I'm fucked up, boy, I'm living my dream. Just leave me alone if you're not with the team. My brain too smart to come up with a scheme. If I said it, then I meant it, and I know what I mean. Had me a vision, it was fucking with my dreams, and it.
Yo, what it do, everybody? It's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels. Y'all already know what it is, man. Welcome back, you guys, to the 1130 podcast. What's good? How everybody doing out there? Appreciate you guys joining me back here for another episode. You dig, man? Good morning, good night, good afternoon to all my listeners who listening to me on EB Radio, man. Shout out to all my listeners. Appreciate everybody and everybody, man, who's watching on YouTube. You dig? If you guys are new to the channel on YouTube, man, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Yes, smash that notification bell, like it, leave a comment, share it. Try to get the 1130 podcast up and out there even more, you guys. And also, don't forget to follow the 1130 podcast on all social media platforms. But you guys, man, I'm back here with another episode. You dig, man? It's gonna be a great one, you guys. Great one lined up for the books, you guys. Got two guests, yes. But first up, you guys, my guy Presteeje. Yes, man. He been rocking with the 1130 podcast. He's gonna be joining me today on the podcast. It's gonna be a sweet one, man. For real, it's gonna be a sweet one. My guy is from Pontiac, Michigan. Yes, he's a podcaster, you guys. He's a content creator. You know, he's the host of Dope World News, man. It's gonna be dope, man. For real, it's gonna be a dope. He's the host of a wrestling podcast, you guys. Man, it's gonna be off the chain, man. It's gonna be off the chain. Also, coming up a little bit later on, you guys, my guy Adam Nutter. He's a comedian, you guys. He's gonna be joining me here on the podcast to talk some shit, man. It's gonna have fun. It's gonna be a great one. But before we get to that, you guys, I want to shout out my guest who was on last week, Dr. Beckford, and my guy Chris. I appreciate you guys joining me here on the podcast very, very much, man. I appreciate it so much. But you guys, man, here on the episode, we about to get it started. You dig? We about to get it started. I'm excited. But yo, my man Presteeje, all the way from Pontiac, Michigan. What's going on with you, bro?
Yo, what's up? Hey, thanks for having me on. It's definitely an honor. I've been rocking with the platform ever since I became aware of it. You give us great content every week, so I definitely want to salute to you and your contribution to the culture. And keep pushing this thing forward.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. That's what I try to do and keep doing, man. Each and every week, pushing forward. Staying consistent, man. And I noticed, you're a fan of it, man. A supporter of the podcast. And, I had to, reach back out and show some support, man, the best way I can, man. But how's it going today? How's your day going?
Hey, man, pretty good. Just like you, man. Just doing the grind and just. Working the social media, game planning ahead of time for just, creating. Yeah. So I just been in the lab.
Yeah, okay. How life treating you though?
Oh, pretty good. Can't complain. Family healthy, I'm healthy. Everything is good. Okay. Definitely can't complain.
Okay, cool. Once again, man, appreciate you joining me here on the podcast. For my viewers who's joining me, man, who's not familiar with you, can you tell them something about yourself?
Hey, first and foremost, I come from Pontiac, Michigan, 36 minutes north of Detroit. I'm a content creator, podcaster, also artist and brand developer. If you're wondering what I do with artists, basically what I do is I help them get their rollouts for songs, maybe their branding, imagery, just anything that surround them that they might need help on. Put them in contact with producers, writers, just anything that's around them. I connect them, I plug them in. I also do A&Rs on their albums and stuff, coming up with the final track list, and just anything to help them stay an artist and, work on the business side of things.
Okay.
So, that's mainly what I'm into. But my main focus is the podcasting right now. I also host two podcasts. The Dope World News podcast. Shout out to my boys, Nevada Nash, ODP Nasty, I See Everything, Jabril, them guys over there. And I also do a wrestling podcast with my man's Mature the Servant, Hit Your Finisher podcast. So I'm a busy person. So I got my hands in a lot of bags.
Hey, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. You got to stay busy, man. Got to stay busy. How did you get into, what you doing, for the rollout and, the album list and everything? How did you get
Um,
into that?
well, it started with my love of music. I fell in love with music when I was young. Just the whole process from, the production, writing, just knowing everything as far as the credits, engineering, uh, how they get the live performances going with just, the stage setters and managers and all that stuff. Just the entire process on how to make that stuff go. I was an artist at one point, and it's cool. That part of the life is fun, but it just come with just a lot of stuff you got to maintain on the front end. And I fell back from that, and I started working in the back end. I'm like, I can be more beneficial to what's going on in the culture if I take my knowledge and put it behind multiple people instead of trying to be this one person and be this artist or this star and push myself forward. I felt like I could take my talents and energy and push multiple people forward. So that's how I kind of got into that role.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up, man. It's so cool, connecting with guys with podcasting and seeing, their backgrounds. I did music for some time, wrote music, and fell out of it, and I want to get back into it. It's just that of course, podcasting, man, took off. My brother was like, because me and my brother did this thing, we did this rapping, we was a group. He was just like, man, you got your verse, man, you got your verse. And I'm like, man, nah, I ain't got it. You slacking. But he was more of, the music, the on-hand guy, because also he had the equipment. You feel me? And I think when you have that equipment and when you have stuff like, even if you're doing just podcasting, if you got the equipment like this, you're going to get into it. You feel me? Like even when you just sitting around, you're going to be like, you know what, man, I'm bored, or not really. You're just going to go to that right there that's, your passion or something like that. But
exactly.
Yeah, that's much respect, man, because I did the same thing, man. I did the same thing. You talked about your wrestling podcast. Of course, man, you follow me. Big Rick wrestling fan, man. Every time I hear everybody from Pontiac, Michigan, I always think of WrestleMania 3, man. So,
come on.
Yeah, tell me about your podcast.
Well, the Hit Your Finisher podcast is actually a revival of an old wrestling podcast, me and the guy who hosted. It's a restart, relaunch. It was called Face Off Fridays. We came together every Friday and we talked about all the major points in wrestling. Of course, life happens. He got married. Well, he was already married. I had my situation going on, having kids. Life happened, and different ventures and stuff. So we kind of fell off on that. But it's been a long time coming because we always was talking about let's make this happen. Let's make this happen. And with the pandemic hitting, it's like, it's the perfect time to make this happen because everything virtual. It's no excuse for us not to be able to meet up and do this. So like, we just jumped back in because like, we are huge wrestling fans, huge observers, knowledgeable, and we feel like we bring a lot to the wrestling circle with our perspective and our knowledge, because I've been a wrestling fan since like 98. So that's around when I was like 7 or 8 years old. So like, I've been watching the game for a long time. And I also like just hearing other people's perspective because I'm just one person. I can only give so much. So that platform just creates just a community of just wrestling fans that could just talk about what we love the most.
Hey man, you right, man. It's just is I love to see the similarities, just amongst us, man, because you don't really get to see a whole lot of black people who was into wrestling. They more so into sports and the mainstream things and stuff like that. But we're gonna get back into some wrestling a little bit later on one thing. Listeners and watchers just like, oh man, he just brought his wrestling podcast over. But we're gonna get back into that a little later. But you guys, man, we're gonna kick the podcast off, man, how we do it each and every week. We're gonna start it off with the WTF moment of the week, you guys. My man Presteeje man here is my guest. Would you like to share your WTF moment of the week if you have one?
Actually, I do got one. My man's from Texas. Don't got his name right now, but he the mayor of a city in Texas. I think it's Colorado City, Texas. And I just want to send my condolences to the people going down, the things going down in Texas with the untimely winter weather with the snow and the ice and stuff. He basically told the people that, it's not up to the government or the local officials to help y'all out in these times of need. Y'all need to quit being lazy and get up and do something on your own. And that really irked me, because if it wasn't for the people there, he wouldn't be in the position that he's in. Mm-hmm. And any office is an office of public service. So he's wrong when he say it's not their obligation or their responsibility to make sure that the people of their community are taken care of. It actually is, because without our tax dollars, you have no salary, which means you can't provide for your family. So my WTF moment was the insensitive nature of his comments.
Hey man, you're right. We on the same wavelength, man. Because that's crazy. I just heard about that. I just heard about that story, and I'm gonna share my WTF moment right behind you, man. Because my WTF moment is everything that went on down there in Texas, this past week, because it was crazy. I had a doctor on last week. Shout out to Dr. Tamara Beckford. She hit me up in my inbox after being on the show and was just like, man, can you share this? And she was just like getting awareness out, because people are getting sick over CO poisoning. And I was like, and then went on to, look into it, carbon monoxide poisoning. And people are just, because of the power, they lost their power because of, it's cold down there. Texas don't really get cold. People are warming up their cars, their vehicles and their garages, and lighting charcoal on the grill and bringing it in the house. So people all down there is just getting, infected and, getting sick, over stuff like this. And I think it's really, really crazy. And it goes on to what you said, being someone, at a higher power as a mayor, in charge with people, as in the community get you, put there, you're going to tell people stop being lazy. Like, I think that's real crazy, man.
The surge in carbon monoxide poisoning cases that we're seeing, a woman and an 8-year-old girl in Southwest Houston have died. Detectives say a car was left running in their garage, sending that carbon monoxide into their home.
Local hospitals are also reporting a surge in carbon monoxide patients. Jacob Rescone covering that for us tonight, live in the Texas Medical Center. Jacob?
And Dominique, hospitals always see an increase in patients during the winter, but never in numbers like this, Memorial Herman says. Too many people are forgetting that using a car or generator, stove or grill to try to heat your home will poison you and, as we saw today, may kill you. First responders found the family of 4 unconscious with the car running in the garage. A father and 7-year-old boy rushed to the hospital. The mother and 8-year-old daughter did not survive.
It's over half of the patients that we've seen overnight are children. And unfortunately, children are actually more at risk from the long-term complications from carbon monoxide poisoning.
Memorial Herman's medical director says more than 100 people were hospitalized on its campuses with carbon monoxide poisoning in less than 24 hours.
Yes, it certainly happens when it gets cold, but never in these kind of numbers. This is the kind of situation where we would say this is an absolute public health disaster, right? This is a public health emergency. This would be akin to what we call a mass casualty situation.
Dozens of patients flooded the emergency room at Baylor St. Luke's Northwest Houston campus. 1 person died and 10 others were hospitalized at LBJ Hospital. Houston Fire Chief Sam Pena.
What we responded to is that's really alarming is over 90 calls, 90 incidents for carbon monoxide poisoning. And sadly, we had at least 2 that perished as a result of carbon monoxide poisoning.
The colorless, odorless gas is a poison that deprives your brain, heart, and other vital organs of oxygen. Cy-Fair firefighters today warned against using grills to heat your home.
Nearly half of Texas is under a boil water advisory from overwhelmed water systems and leaking pipes due to the cold. Some are even boiling snow. There was a line of cars in Houston at a drive-through bottled water distribution site. At many food stores, empty shelves. FEMA is in Texas providing generators, water, diesel fuel, and blankets, among other things. The American Red Cross is asking for donations through its website.
This is especially hard for those low-income families who are already struggling.
Yeah. What they don't understand is, like, number one, they're not prepared for this type of situation. But when you have no electricity, like, it's hard to make anything move. They don't have access to gas. They don't have access to keep food, good so it could be eaten. Like having no electricity down there cancel out the whole operation. And the thing about him being a mayor, like you could find a way. You plugged in. The thing is, these other people can't. And that's the thing. I don't want to get political, but the downside to politics is a lot of people in that position, no matter what happened, they're going to be well off. And then it's the people left to deal with whatever's going on.
Yeah, you're right. And I try not to get political, man, but things just get political. And I just feel as though, just in the world today, the resources just be going to the wrong places, man. They just be going to the wrong places, like with everybody down there in Texas, and yes, people, not on hands ready for a situation like that. But I mean, we all know that a national disaster can happen at any time. So I mean, just get them people's, out and get them in hotels and, make them, comfortable. They got kids and some of their babies are dying, like it's really crazy though. It's really crazy. I think all the money can go to building new houses and building new buildings or, more corporate buildings, but not helping people, at a lower level to, succeed, in life. I think that's...
We got enough resources to make whatever we want happen. It's not a matter of capability. It's just a choice,
Yeah, you're right. It's a choice. It's all a choice, man. And another thing that's going down on there, man, because since we on the whole Texas thing, but the energy bills, the electric bills, is going crazy now over, them, leaving stuff on, just trying to stay warm. So now, even in the early of the pandemic, I don't know, you're in Pontiac, Michigan, I'm in DC. It happened here, before the pandemic, you go to the store, you get some milk, it's $1.50. You go back in 2 weeks, it's $2.50. You feel me? Like they capitalizing off of the pandemic. The richer just keep getting richer, and it's crazy.
Absolutely.
It's crazy. Like my electric bill is, it's high because I'm trying to keep and stay warm down there. But you guys are gonna charge me an arm and my leg though for the electric bill. I think that's crazy.
Absolutely, and that's where leadership got to come in and legislation, emergency legislation. They got to cap that because, like, not only in this time they can't go to work, they homebound, so there's no way they're gonna be able to get you money. Like, they got to figure out something. The people shouldn't have to suffer for them not being prepared for a natural disaster. So the people shouldn't have to suffer through that while being forced to continue to make somebody else rich.
You're right, and it's crazy though. Like how you said, there's no reason, because throughout this pandemic, a lot of us, especially podcasters, man, just if you had that determination or you had the motivation to do it, we just right there at it, because things get so caught up, and we just try to stay focused. Stay focused with the podcast and just keep pushing at it, man. What skill would improve society as a whole if more people took the time to learn it?
I would say financial literacy, but with the whole thing that happened with the GameStop and the stock market crap, that showed me that they'll probably change the rules again as they go. So I'll probably say something like agricultural or, some type of carpentry, something with your hands. Because I learned that like them skilled trades will keep you employed because America is always building. So probably something in the skilled trades or agricultural.
Yeah, you're right. Most of the skilled trades that you do with your hands, they took away from us.
Oh, man.
So yeah, and
big time.
Yeah, and what I was trying to say, I was trying to remember, like at this time, we have a bunch of time on our hands, and just it's no reason to not get up and do it. You got the motivation and you want a podcast or you want to go do it, do whatever you need to do. You feel me? What inspires you?
Oh man, that's a deep question. just being able to be an example to people just to go follow your passion. That's it. I can't say I do anything for money or any accolades or nothing like that, but I feel like everybody got a gift. I feel like everybody got something to give. We're all different, but whatever it is that's inside of you, I want to be the example that if you work hard and you dedicate it, you could take that and you can make your mark. And can't nobody take away from your mark. Can't nobody validate your mark. Your mark is your mark. And if you are passionate enough about it, you can make it and it will be respected because can't nobody do you like you. So I try to be the example of that.
Hey, that's what's up. That's a good answer. That's a good answer. Can you tell me what's the prestige section?
Oh man, the prestige section. So to me, it's like my community is like my base. Like the prestige section is anybody who support me, anybody who a fan of me. Even if you don't like me, like you could be part of the prestige section because like you can't have one without the other. So it's just my thing that I adopted. I'm also an event planner and host. So I just came up with the idea like, hey, yeah, this is just the prestige section right here. It's just me and y'all. Mm-hmm. And that thing just kind of started rolling in my city. I'm like, yeah, this is the prestige section right here. We had the most fun in the prestige section. So it just took on a life of its own. And I just made it part of my social media presence. And, you know, it's catching on. I did have an old social media presence that ended up getting hacked. I had nearly 100,000 people on my Facebook page with me on that. So this is just kind of a starting over process and a rebranding on social media. So like, it's something that people, they like. So I just stick with it.
Hey, that's what's up. Since we wrestling fans, is it like the Cesaro section?
The Cesaro section. I remember that. Actually, it could be something like that because if you think about it, he had the fan, that little fan section in the arena. So it could be looked at something like that. Yes, it could be. Okay. He done went through so many changes in his career. I forgot about that.
Yeah. You say you did a hosting and stuff like that. How was that?
Oh, good. Here in the city, we have a lot of events and stuff. People hit me up. Hey, can you be here for this party? Or can you come here for this function? They're going to be talking to kids, just stuff like that, you know. So I'm just that type of person. Hey, I know how to just manage an event, manage time, keep people engaged, keep people entertained until, you know, whatever proceeding got to come. So it's just one of them things. I'm a natural talker. So that's how I got into that. So
that's what's up. Anybody hit you up for you to be their manager yet?
Man, I have been hit up for that, but that's one of them things where I have to be like solid. I gotta have my game all the way together because your success is dependent on me. So I have been looking into that, you know, just learning the game, getting the knowledge about different industries and stuff like that. Just it's one of them things where you got to be connected and better be on point. But from the position I am now, I do a lot of advising, but managing, you solely responsible. So, you know, that's not a step I've taken yet.
Oh, okay. That's cool though. We talked about, you know, throughout the pandemic, man, and just making the best of it. How you been, you know, maintaining?
Thank God I can say that I've been employed during the pandemic, so just working, but also in the beginning where you had that extra time where everybody was at home, I was always in my iPad just working on graphics, looking at YouTube for this, just figuring out a way how to make myself better for the platform that I contribute to. So, you know, it was just one of them times like we all Kobe fans, like my Mamba mentality. I was just in the lab, just constantly working on something, just creating, just trying to stay sharp and get better and elevate myself. So that's kind of what kept me going through the pandemic. If you look at the versus battle with Timberland and Swiss Beats, it's like, if it wasn't no pandemic, that wouldn't have been created. You know, now we got a cultural platform that, draw millions of people in every time they put something out or host an event. So I definitely took advantage of the pandemic by like, how can I create? How can I get better? Like, we sitting still. There's no reason not to be doing something because everybody figure excuses. I don't have the time. And at the beginning of the pandemic, we had nothing but that. So I just tried to get better as a person, as a creator, just all the way around. There's no excuse.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It was no excuse, because like I said, at the beginning of the pandemic, man, it was nothing but time. Everybody got laid off from work. I wasn't working. So, I mean, this podcast, was my work. So it was just turn it up to 100. Basically, and just keep on, digging at it and keep going. And I think another people, with everything, especially what happened last year over the summer with the whole George Floyd thing, and it was just one after another, after another, after another. A lot of people was just so fed up. Either they went to their journals, whether they called or FaceTime with somebody, or they got on the podcast and started putting in time and work and showing and telling how they feel and what's on their mind. Because at a time like this, a lot of people not mentally doing good. And it's Black History Month, it's brother to brother. How you doing mentally?
Oh, I'm doing well. That you say mentally, that's one of them things I try to work on as well, just being well mentally. Like, we got this body of ours where like you got to train it to keep it going, but you got to take care of your mind too. So I definitely try to stay positive, have positive thoughts, get knowledge, understanding. Like, you got to do small things just to exercise his mind to keep it healthy. So, I'm good. I'm blessed. I can't complain. I got a whole mind. I'm not insane. Like, I got my whole mind. I got good sense. Because there's some people, they might have woke up with dementia, they mind gone. Or they might have took a bad drug, mind gone. I woke up this morning, I got my full mind. So I definitely do what I can to try to take care of it, have positive thoughts, words of encouragement, words of affirmation, just, small things. Because mental health is one of them things, we lag behind in the Black community. It's getting better, but we still need more tools just, to get to more people, because in America, it's definitely hard being Black. I was just thinking about this the other day. If I ride into a different community that's not my own, like, it's like, oh, snaps. I just hope, I make it through this, boy, and don't nobody pull me over messing with me. Even though I'm legit with my tags and my insurance and I'm doing all the right things, it's still not a guarantee. So, with them type of pressures, I still try to stay positive and remain hopeful.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm going to take a phrase from my man, Carlos Miller. My man, Carlos Miller said, man, being Black is like having, being Black is like playing Madden, your life on all Madden. It's hard. It's real hard. You feel me? But, yes, you got to stay, with the right mindset, stay positive and just keep pushing forward, because any and everything and just the littlest things can take you down, So gotta stay focused out there. Gotta stay focused. You mentioned Kobe Bryant not too long ago. What's your thoughts on the Meek Mill and Kobe Bryant situation?
See, rap is one of them things where, like, it's different. Like, rap is one of them things where almost anything goes. Especially if you follow the battle rap culture, like, nothing is off the table. They talk about each other kids, each other wives, and all of that. So me being a hip hop enthusiast, like, that's how I look at it. But I also know that, hip hop is really part of the mainstream culture. Hip hop is the #1 genre in the world now. So you kind of got to toe that line when you like Meek Mill. He's one of the most visible people in the game. And Kobe only wasn't celebrated in hip hop, but he was a global icon. So those outside of the hip hop that don't understand the game and the rules, they kind of gonna take offense because they don't know how hip hop moved or how battle rap moved. So I didn't have a problem with the bar, but just on the being politically correct side, Meek Mill is gonna have to deal with that. I know Lil Wayne back in the day had a line on Karate Chop about Emmett Till.
Yeah.
And they got hurry up and got it out of there. They got that line out of there. So as a rapper, you know, it is anything goes, but it is a line where like, all right, if enough people, you know, if you cross that line and enough people say something, now we got to address it. So I don't see nothing wrong with it, this rap, but also with all the people who love Kobe, I do understand why they feel how they feel.
Yeah. You're right, man. It's crazy. You know, everybody got an opinion for something these days and everybody is sensitive. I can't say I, you know, like it or dislike it. You know, of course, you know, it's publicity. He's doing what he's doing to get somebody talking. Kobe Bryant was my favorite basketball player of all time. It was real sad. And it was last year, the day of the Royal Rumble where Edge came back. That was the day that Kobe Bryant, you know, passed, and just being shocked and just devastated. But, you know, let's just let my man Kobe just, you know, rest and leave it as that, man.
Yeah, I do agree with you on that. Let him rest.
Yeah.
You know, I know he is who he is, but like that line, it just sparked it up just a little bit more, and it's gonna linger a little bit longer.
Right about that, man. Right about that. You guys, man, we're gonna move on here in the podcast. My man Presteeje, before you go, man, you got a dope podcast. You got a dope podcast, Dope News Podcast. Tell me about it, man. Tell the listeners everything about it.
Look, the Dope World News Podcast, we drop every Tuesday. We talk about the pressing issues in the culture, whether it's in hip-hop, society, and entertainment as a whole. We got our trademark version of comedy mixed with just intellectual sense. It's a well-rounded conversation with guys that just meet up every week and we talk our talk. I feel like it's the most honest form of entertainment and just informal conversation that you can find every week. So I encourage you to tune in. Follow us on Instagram at Real ODP. That's REL ODP. On YouTube at Overdope Productions. And you will see everything that we bring to the table. I feel like what I say don't bring the product justice. You just have to go see it for yourself to understand it. You know, it's a bunch of guys, but we represent a culture, whether it's a hip-hop lover, whether you are somebody who's progressive with progressive ideas and trying to find your inclusion in society, who might have been marginalized. Like, we cover a lot of bases, but the bases are solely based on whether it's right or wrong. You know, it's no political affiliations. It's none of that. Is it right or wrong, good, bad, or indifferent? Like, we're going to tell the truth about it. And one thing you can say about us is you might not be able to agree with us, but you cannot say we were wrong. And that's our point on the Dope World News Podcast.
Hey, that's what's up. That's what's up. Hey, I was chatting with you like I was saying, man. I rock with the podcast, Dope World News, you guys. Every Tuesday, check it out wherever you get your podcasts is at, man. Hey, yo, man, I appreciate you, man, coming through, chatting it up with me, just chilling, man, just vibing with me here on the 1130 podcast. Before you go, any questions for me, any shout outs, anything you'd like to say?
I definitely want to shout you out personally. Thank you for having me on. Any thoughts on the Elimination Chamber?
Oh man, it was crazy. It was crazy. What's your thoughts on the whole Adam Cole in Undisputed Era?
You know what? This is the first time in a long time where, like, as a wrestling fan, I cannot gauge what's coming next. I don't know if this is the end of the Undisputed Era because we haven't seen Bobby Fish. This dude, Roderick Strong, it's like he trying to hold it together. And clearly, Kyle O'Reilly is on the outside looking in. The only thing we know is that Adam Cole wants the title. But it's just the complete end of the Undisputed Era. And I don't know. Yeah. Could they bring in somebody different? Like, it's a lot of questions that need to be answered. But I love it because now it opens storytelling. And we have to be engaged and we have to follow now.
You're right. You're right about that, man. You're right about that. I appreciate you joining me here on the podcast, man. We about to get into some wrestling talk, wrestling chat, man, during the commercial, man. But yo, Prestige, man, thank you so much for joining me here on the podcast, man. You guys go check out the Dope World News podcast, wherever you get your podcasts is at. For real, it's awesome, man. Can you drop your social media, tell them where to follow you?
Oh, yeah. Well, you can follow me at Prestige on all social media. That's Presteeje. On all social medias. Follow me. I'm worth the follow. It's always entertainment. It's always laughs. And it's always something meaningful too. You know, it can't be all jokes, but most of the time it is jokes, but I do give meaningful stuff too. So make sure y'all check me out.
Hey, you guys got it. Go follow my man Prestige. Yo, once again, bro, appreciate you joining me here on EB Radio this week and on YouTube. Man, stay safe out there because I know it's crazy, man, and stay blessed. And thank you for joining me this week on the
Hey, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, yo, my man Prestige, man, dope time chatting with you, man. For real, dope time. It was nothing but a real conversation there, man. Real. We talked about, man, stuff that is going on in Texas, man, for real. Because everybody, we need to share awareness on this and light because it's crazy. It really is crazy that what's going on down there. And people, you know, you got the mayor down there talking about, you know, people being lazy though. Like, it's crazy, man. And from a mental check-in, man, it's Black History Month. You know, we got to check in, man, because a lot of people out there don't ask another person, you know, are they okay? Or, you know, ask them how they doing. You know, and that could be a big difference and make a big difference, you know, to a person's day. You know, you never know, man. But just in general and everything, man, Prestige, I appreciate you joining me here on the podcast this week, man. It was an honor, man. Appreciate your support, just in general. But you guys, man, go check out my man podcast, Dope World News, man, where he give it all to you, man, with comedy style, talk about hip hop and everything, man. So, yo, appreciate you, Prestige. But you guys, man, yo, we about to take a quick break. Me and my man Prestige, we're gonna chat some more wrestling. But coming up after the break, you guys don't go nowhere. I got my guy Adam Nutter. You guys, like I said, he's a podcaster. You guys, he's a comedian. He's gonna be joining me here on the 1130 podcast. We're gonna talk some shit, man, and just have fun here on the podcast. So don't go nowhere. You're listening to the 1130 podcast. You dig?
Everyone has something to say, a story to tell. We make it easy to share yours. So let's talk.
Regardless of your podcast setup, hit record. And from there, whether your podcast reaches 10 people or 10 million, we can help you get heard wherever listeners are.
And who knows, maybe even quit your day job.
But no matter who hears you, it's about connecting and sharing something from your perspective.
It's about having a voice and using it without anything standing in your way. Say it all with Anchor.
Ain't nobody held me down, yeah.
Yo, you guys, welcome back here to the 1130 podcast. Appreciate you guys sticking with me throughout the break. Before we get to my next guest, you guys, I want to shout out my guy Prestige for joining me here on the 1130 podcast. But you guys, man, like I was saying, I'm back here throughout the break, man, with another guest, you guys. My guy Adam Nutter, you guys, coming to us from Philly today. He's a stand-up comedian. He's a podcaster. He's going to be joining me right now. It's going to be a fun time. Adam, how's it going, bro?
What's up, man? Just hanging out, having a regular, boring ass day, man. Not much going on.
I appreciate you joining me on the podcast. Like I was saying, you're a stand-up comedian, bro. That's one of the hardest jobs out there to do, man. Like, you got to be good at it. You got to be blessed with it to get up on stage and have to be confident within yourself, and you know, just have the ability to do that. Because I say that's really hard. You know, not everybody can make people laugh though. And I just get into comedy and stuff.
Yeah, man. So I mean, I've been doing it 8 years now. So it's my full time. You know, I do it full time. I do that, my podcast and all that stuff. It's awesome. I love it. COVID kind of ruined it. COVID kind of put a pin in that. But before COVID, man, I mean, it was great. You know, traveling the country, doing stand up, going to New York, going to LA. You know, trying to get into festivals, all this stuff, trying to come up with projects, and then it all comes to a close, which sucks. But you know, trying to get back into it. We've been doing more and more shows since like over the last year. But to get to the core of comedy, yeah, dude, it's definitely hard. It's definitely not for everybody. it's definitely it's wild. I mean, you first start out and you're like, I mean, everyone's different though, you know, like some people get told like they're funny, like you're funny, you're like the class clown, you're like me when we left the office, you should be a comic. And some people try, and those people almost always fail because they're not really funny. Like they're funny to people that know them, and making your boys laugh is not making the stranger laugh. It's two separate things. And like a lot of people will come up thinking that like, oh, I'm funny, but I make a room full of like office workers laugh. Like, yeah, you should. They're office workers. Like they're not. That's not their bread and butter, dude. Like, yeah, accountants. You should be crushing accountants and laughter. Like, yeah. So when they get to like, you know, the comedy stage, they'll walk up there and with this confidence sometimes, and they'll eat shit, and you're like, yeah, man, that's what happens. Welcome to this world, dude. Now work at it. Like if you want to take it seriously. So 8 years in. Just trying to always come up with writing new jokes, perform as much as I can. My goal is I want to go back on the road full time and be like a full-time road headliner, but until, you know, shit opens up again, it's kind of hard. So right now I'm just trying to work as much as I can locally and just do as much as I can and just get on stage as much as I can. It's all about repetition, you know?
Yeah, you're right. You were right about. Yeah, you were right about that. Were you stand up? Were you a class clown? Make everyone laugh?
No, not at all. I was a fucking loser. Like I was like straight up. I was a nerdy jock, if that makes sense. So like I was really good in football, except I also love Spider-Man and Batman and stuff. And this is like, I'm 34. This was like the 90s and the early 2000s when that wasn't cool yet. So like people now like, oh, Marvel. It's like, yeah, now, but like I had to earn that nerd card. I got beat up. So like all my teammates and stuff, we never got along. Even though I was good in football, I still never got along with them. And I always loved comedy though, you know? Like I love stand-up comedy. I just loved it. I love the laughter. I love the genius creativity of it, like the mind you got to put into it. Like so much goes into it people don't get. And like, especially seeing great, like my favorite comic of all time, and Comedy Central just dropped a documentary on him, Patrice O'Neal. The fucking great Patrice O'Neal, man. And anybody who is into comedy and you don't know Patrice O'Neal, you gotta go watch Patrice O'Neal. I mean, brilliant dude, and so funny. And like when you see that at like 16 years old, 17 years old, you know, you're like, dude, I want to do that. And I'm no Patrice O'Neal, I'm not even close to Patrice O'Neal. Yeah. But that's, you know, you see that and you fall in love with that, and I wanted to do that, and that's how I got into comedy. But everyone's different, you know. So some people are like the class clown and they get into it.
Oh, okay. Well, since you wasn't, you know, more so the class clown, how did you get into it? Like, what made you decide, you know what, I'm just gonna get into comedy though and become good at it? You know, of course, you become good at it, you know, with over time, you know, keep doing it. But how did you really get into it? Like, what was the point that you got into it?
So I'm from New York. I'm from Staten Island, New York. So I mean, Manhattan's literally right there. I mean, that's like, you know, the place for stand-up. It's either there or LA, right? It's like those are the two places in the country for stand-up. So I was like, well, I mean, I love comedy. I was 18 years old. I was like, I love comedy. I think this is what I want to do. I think I just want to do it. I like to make people laugh. You know, I like the creativity. I want to just go. And I went to an open mic at 18 years old, the comic strip in Manhattan. And I did okay for my first time ever. I was like, oh shit, I think I can. And then I ate shit for like the next 2 years. Like that's just how it goes. Like, you know, you just, but that's how I fell in love with it. I fell in love with watching comics I loved. And I was like, you know what? I think I want to do this. I think I want to do this with my life. And that's exactly how I did it. I just did it. It went down. I just did it.
You are my people. No one's driving home though, right? No, don't do that. You can drive when you're high though, because no one cares and it's totally safe. Trust me. But I do all the time. You do dumb shit when that's something you do. It's not dangerous, it's just dumb shit. Like, give you an example. 2 months ago, did a show, smoked with the comics out back, right? Go to drive home, pull into my neighborhood, and there's all these deer. I live in Pennsylvania. Deer everywhere, okay? So I slam my brakes. And they're on the side of the road, they're not moving. You're just fucking standing there, kind of like mean mugging me. Like, what's up, bitch? Fucking go. And fuck your car up, bitch. You know, I'm like, you go. Fuck you go. You fucking go. 15 minutes I'm yelling at deer. They were Christmas decorations. And that's the dumb shit you do when you drive high. You know?
That's it. You gotta take the jump, dude.
Who's some of your favorite comedians?
Well, okay, so like I said, Patrice O'Neal is the all-time GOAT for me. Bill Burr, Dave Chappelle, Louis C.K., Jim Norton, Bobby Kelly, Rich Voss. Oh man, Tom Segura is great. Mark Norman's great. God, there's so fucking many. There's so many.
Yeah.
There's just so many comments. I mean, those are some of my all times though. So you kind of get my sense of style from those, I think.
Yeah. There's a lot of good comedies, man. A lot of good comics, man. A lot of people say, especially with comedy, man, is really their real life, that they going up there, saying what they got to say, it's their jokes, and sometimes it could be pain behind those jokes, and, it could be, the opposite, though. You're not also a comedian, you're a librarian, too. Can you
Libertarian.
tell me more about that? Oh.
Libertarian.
Libertarian.
So, yeah, so, I don't know. I was always interested in politics, I guess. But like when I say interested, I don't mean like necessarily like a politician. I just mean like globally. Like it's fascinating, like what goes on in the country. We're all affected by it, right? All of our rights and shit. So I was always into politics. And then I was like 2021. I'm like, I know I'm not Republican. I know I'm not a Democrat. Right? I know I'm not those two things. I don't agree with a lot of what those sides. I agree with some of what they say, or each side, right? But I don't really know what I am. Come to term, I come across libertarianism, and what libertarianism is the bare bones, the very bare bones of it is this: you do you, I do me. We're all in this together. You don't fucking tell me what to do. You don't take my stuff. I don't take your stuff. You don't hurt me. I don't hurt you. And fuck the government. That's pretty much libertarianism in a nutshell. Right now, obviously, it's a lot more in depth than that. But that's pretty much it. I don't like people's rights being fucked with. I don't like that people get to tell you what to do. I don't feel like people, what I'm saying? I don't mean like murder. That's pretty obvious. I mean like other stuff, like other laws that I think are arbitrary that don't really matter. Like, what I'm saying? So yeah, so that's pretty much libertarianism is. I got pretty heavily involved in that. I go on like a lot of political podcasts, and I talk like a lot of. I'm gonna start my own political podcast, I think, soon. Because it's not. I don't mix it with comedy really. It's not my thing. I'm not like a good political comic. My comedy's separate from this. So like, if people want to see my comedy, I promise you, it won't be political. It'll just be about me doing drugs, being an idiot, fucking doing stupid decisions in my life, awkward hookups, awkward relationships stuff, married stuff, that's what I talk about. It's funny, goofy shit. So I try to separate it. But I do care about, the country, and I do care about where we go, and I do care about law and stuff, and I do care about all of our rights. Pretty much. That's pretty much libertarianism is, yeah.
Hey, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. Because I don't like being told what to do. Neither do you, So
exactly.
I mean, gotta have somebody to stand up for you. I'm on your side all the way, man.
Yeah, man.
You played football, man. Oh, actually, you played football, you said, but you did MMA for some time. And you're a big fan of MMA. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so that started because I was getting bullied and beat up.
That is a great way. That is a great way. Everybody out there listening, if you're getting bullied, man, just train for MMA or boxing, and you could fight back, man.
Dude, I told you, I was playing football, even though I was playing football, and I was good. Like, I played up until I was 25 years old. Like, I played semi-pro. Like, I was good. Like, I was like legitimately good. So like, but my teammates were like, no, we don't, and they didn't. They didn't fight me. Like my teammates, but like they would bully me. Other kids though would like try to physically bully me, and I was always a quiet kid, like when it came to that shit. And I was like, I guess I was strong for football, but it doesn't matter how strong you are if you're afraid to fight and you're afraid of confrontation. It doesn't matter, right? Yeah. So it doesn't matter. So I was like, okay, I'm going into college. This got to stop. Like, I can't go my whole life, like, being a fucking pussy. And even though, like, I would get into fights as a kid all the time, but it's still, like, there's always a fear, though, right? Yeah. There's always a fear of fighting. Like, you would dude, I'm a Italian white kid from Staten Island, dude. Like, we got into fights with other Italian kids all the fucking time. Like, that's just what it was. That's what it was. Like, we would get into fights over football, over fucking baseball, over anything. And, like, someone said the wrong thing to you, it's like, it's a fight. And that's it. So like I always grew up fighting a lot, but I was always afraid and I was never great at it. Until 18, I was like, all right, here comes, I got to do something. I always loved MMA. I was like, oh, I should just learn how to do this. And I went to my local MMA place in Staten Island, and then the rest is history. And I started picking up from there. I only competitively fought for 1 year, but I trained for like 8 to 9.
Okay, that's what cool.
Yeah.
Who did you fight?
So I fought, so it was illegal in New York back then. So you couldn't legally fight, and you could train, but you couldn't legally have sanctioned fights in New York. So I fought amateur, obviously. I never fought professional. And when you fight amateur, your first fight, they try to like link you up to someone who's 0-0 or 0-1 or 1. It's someone who's very new too. And I was essentially a striker. I had no background. I had no wrestling background. I didn't have any background like other people. So they paired me up with a wrestler who had no striking, and I fucked his shit up. I just didn't have to get taken down. But I had to fight in Jersey because that's where it's legal. Yeah. So I fought a few legal fights in Connecticut and Jersey, but I fought like behind an Applebee's, like not kidding, like a pop up like MMA match. It was like safe and shit, but it was like technically illegal.
Oh, okay.
So because you couldn't have sanctions, so those don't count on my record at all. So I just took fights for very little money, for brain damage for very no reason. So it's like,
you had to get it in somewhere, huh?
But it was, I mean, listen, I would do it again, honestly. I don't regret it. It was fucking definitely worth it. It was fun. It was definitely fun. Wild times.
That's what's up. What's the most thing you learned from, doing MMA?
I think that the fact that most people don't know how to fight, and a lot of people like to tough talk because they think you also know how to fight, and they'll use their loudness to try to win arguments in real world scenarios. And then I go, yeah, bet, I'll run that with you, and then people are like, oh, nah. Like they don't want that. Like they run real quick. Like I like to think of myself as this. Like I hate injustices, right? So like I hate if I see I hate bullying. So if I see bullying on the street, I will 100% step in. 100% step in. I guess domestic stuff makes sense. Like if a guy's beating up a chick, right, on the street, you guys step in for that stuff. But even like other stuff, like if you hold a door open for somebody and they don't say thank you, I'll be like, hey, you're welcome. Like I'll call people out for that shit all the fucking time because it's rude.
Yeah, you're right.
And like, right, and that's a small example of something that's not that big of a deal. But there are other things that people do all the time in life that, like, they'll talk down to people constantly because no one ever calls them out on their personality or because no one calls them out. And I will because because the fear. This is why people usually don't, because people are afraid of confrontation. People are afraid to take it to the next level. They're afraid if it gets physical, they won't know what to do. I'm not. So I will take it to the next level. I'm like, hey, you're being an asshole. Stop that. Hey. And if they're like, oh, fuck you. Okay, fuck me. Cool, man. What do you want to do about it? You want to go outside? We'll go outside. And then from there, it's very quickly, oh, no, I don't want to go outside. They're like, I thought you didn't want to go outside. So stop being an asshole. And like, I don't use this for like bully shit because I hate bullies. I use this purely for fucking assholes being in the world. Because I'm like, let me use this knowledge for something good. Like I'm not. By the way, I haven't been in a fight in a while, but it's the fact that I'm confident that I'll be like, no, you don't get to act like that. Just because no one stepped to you before doesn't mean you get to go through life like that. I'll step to you. I'll be that guy. It's fine. I have no problem. I might take an L. Sure.
Hey, you're right. Because there's a lot of assholes out there will continue to be assholes. But, unless somebody step up to them, they just going to keep on doing the same thing.
Keep being an asshole. And like, were you ever in a restaurant or like a Dunkin' Donuts or a Starbucks or like a small place that's like a public place, but still kind of small and intimate?
Yeah.
You ever be in someone and they're on speakerphone?
Oh, look. Oh, yes. Yes.
Every time if I see that and I'm in, I'll be like, hey, get off speakerphone. We don't want to hear what you have to say. And they'll be like, you're rude. I'll be like, actually, you're rude. Get off your fucking phone. And I'll be an asshole. Like, I will get loud. Like, I'm not at first. I'll be like, hey, man, right? You never want to come at anybody like 100%. You always want to be nice. But once they show you that I'm not going to be respectful, like, okay, well, I don't have to either now. So that's fine. That's fine. Like, I will, and you know, woman usually, I'm not looking for a fucking conversation with a chick ever, but I will call chicks out for that too. Like on phone stuff, I'll be like, hey, get off. That's not for you. This isn't your house. Like, you know, like, this isn't your fucking home. Get off the fucking phone.
I'm right with you, man. Catching the subway, the metro, man. The worst thing I hate catching the metro is just someone on the bus and they having a conversation, whether they on speaker or not. They just loud with it. You know, why do everybody gotta know your business? Like, why? Why do everybody gotta know your business? And when you just feeling comfortable at this restaurant, now you just talking loud. Now you got on speaker, and now everybody know what you did last night between 9 o'clock and 12 o'clock. Like, why?
What's so hard from this to this? Like, why you can't fucking lift your phone to your ear? Like, I don't understand. Like, so that's a big. So things like that, I will 100% call people out on all the time. I don't care. I really don't care. I don't care anymore.
Hey, that's what's up, man. That's funny. That's funny. And speaking of funny, man, what happened this past weekend? We seen two teen women dressed up as grannies to push ahead and get ahead of everyone else, because with the vaccine, you have to be a certain age, certain places you have to be older. Well, these two women dressed up as, you know, two grannies, and they decided that, we gonna go try to get the vaccine and stuff like that. I was wondering to ask if you heard about that and your thoughts on it.
I love how they try to Mrs. Doubtfire that shit, though.
Yeah, that's what
awesome. I like how also they were like, they'll never look past the wig. Like, there would be no other information they would have to give besides, like, you look old. Like, that's the test, is like some guy being like, nah, you look like you're old enough to get this. Like, they wouldn't be like, you have a license or an ID that says pre-1960?
Exactly.
Like, what are you doing? That's so funny and stupid.
Yeah, that is. I thought that was really weird, man. That should have been on one of my WTF moments earlier, because that sure is one that someone with Mrs. Doubtfire, basically. If my man was here, he would laugh at that. He really would.
That's like that's like when they saw in cartoons when like a bunch of cats would dress up in a trench coat to try to be as human beings. They'd be like, that would probably work in real life. We're gonna try that. Like, they just tried the cat in a trench coat thing. It didn't work.
Yeah, that's crazy. Man, I gotta ask you a question, man. If you were transported 400 years into the past with no clothes or anything else,
okay.
How would you prove that you were from the future?
Let's say 400 years ago. Okay, what was 400 years ago? What was that like 1500 something? Around 1600 something, let's say?
Yeah, something like that.
What was going on in the 1600s? The Renaissance? Renaissance was going on in the 1600s? What can I perceive from the Renaissance to flip that to the future?
Yeah.
I'll be like, yo, David's dick falls off. You're gonna have to fix that shit later on. Like, I'm pretty sure his dick falls off. No, you probably for you have this any future event, like immediate future event, right? You have to be like, this is gonna happen next year.
Yeah.
That'd be the only way, I guess.
The only way,
right? I guess the only way to prove it, because, well, my accent.
Hey, that'd be one of them. That'd be one of them, though.
Because there was no America.
Yeah.
I mean, there technically kind of was, but not really.
That's a good one, though. I'm trying to think, though. I thought, you're a funny dude, so I was like, let me see. He might come up with something very, very creative, though.
Now I'm just trying to think like a real world practicality. I'm like, how can I fool people if I got transported? Because you like my accent. This is what we sound like in the future.
Yeah.
Huh? Like, and they'd be like, no. I would just get because like no one will believe you. And also, if you say you're from the future, they'd be like, you're a witch. And they're gonna murder me for being a witch. Like, there's no good outcome. Actually, the real thing is, there'd be no reason why I would try to prove I'm from the future. I would want to be like, no, I'm from now.
Yeah, exactly, because everybody's gonna look at you weird.
Right, like, oh, I'm from now, eh? Crikey, or whatever. No, it's Australian. Fuck, I'm not good with accents. But yeah, I would just try an English accent and just try to roll my way through, right? Because like that's too dangerous.
Hey, you're right. You're right. That's a cool one. That's a cool one. I just try to fit in, though. Hey, yo, my man Adam, man. You down to play a game?
Fuck yeah, always.
Oh, all right. We're gonna play a game here, returning on the podcast of Would You Rather.
Oh, love this game.
All right, you down? You ready? Okay. Would you rather control water or fire?
Okay, so as a comic book nerd, this is a thing that goes through my mind a lot. A superpower. Okay, now, would I be a villain? Of course, they're way cooler. So of course I'm gonna be a villain in this world, right? So villain, way cooler. I'm gonna have a fucking dope ass outfit to go along with my awesome persona. Fire, for sure. It's more destructive. I feel like it's more easily manipulative. Like I just carry around a little lighter on me. I could fucking bam, fire. Right? Water's not cool. It's like, all right, ready for this? And like you shake up a water bottle, like that's fucking lame. You want something cool like fire.
Okay, that's what's up. Before we get to the next question, what you think about the new Mortal Kombat trailer?
Sick.
Yeah.
Looks sick.
I'm
very excited for it. Excited for it. Yeah.
Okay. Would you rather fight a grizzly or a swarm of hornets?
Oh my god. Oh man, dude. Okay, so bees or any type of fly, it's like truly my number one fear. Like I get like panicky. Like this is a true story. Real sidetrack. There was a small hornet's nest forming a few summers ago right outside my front door, and my wife was like, "Hey, you gotta kill this thing," and I was like, "Hey, you gotta kill this thing, though, right?" I was like, "You gotta kill it," and then I made my 5', 120-pound wife destroy a hornet's nest as I cry behind the glass door out of fear. So that's how I'm afraid of hornets. Now,
wow.
I'm still gonna take those over the grizzly bear, though. I think you got to, because that's just an apex predator.
Yeah.
How many hornets? Are we talking a whole nest?
Yeah, but
so many questions.
Nest. Yeah. Okay. Would you rather have a Rambo or the Terminator on your side?
Terminator. It's a fucking robot. Yeah, it's a robot with future technology and future precision sights. Rambo's a fucking PTS Vietnam veteran who's gonna kill himself soon. I'm always going robot.
All right, I'm with you on Terminator. I got Terminator on my side. Would you rather have your flight delayed by 8 hours or lose your luggage?
Oh wow, no, flight delayed. I'll just have fun in the city I'm in for 8 hours. But yeah. I don't want to lose my shit. I'll have to go buy all new clothes. Fuck that. Exactly. No way. That's a nightmare.
I never flew before. I always want to get on the airplane, but I hear that is one of that is one problem that a lot of people don't like, is losing their luggage.
Hey man, I'll be honest with you. I fly a lot. I've flown a lot, not in the last year, but I travel a lot. Mm-hmm. Never had a problem. It's never even been an issue. I've never even been a thought. Never even been like, what if my luggage show up? Never even been a concern. It's something I would really worry about.
Okay. Would you rather babysit a crying infant for a day or have an unwanted guest for a week?
Unwanted guest, because I could fuck that guy up. Right? Like, you can't punch a baby. I mean, you can, but it's fucked up. But like, I mean, they can't defend themselves. You can easily punch a baby. But like, you could like, for sure, that guy, or a woman, you could talk to them like clean your shit up. What the fuck you doing? Like, give me money. I'm gonna fuck you up. You don't get your shit together. You know, let's do drugs together at least. Make it fun. You know?
Well, would you rather be giving a lifetime supply of delicious food or books?
I'm not gonna read. Give me food. Fucking read. TV.
Okay. Would you rather grow a ponytail down to your ankles or have a huge Adam's apple?
Huge Adam's apple for sure. I don't want to have Rapunzel hair for no reason. Like, they'd be so. I have to always talk about it.
Yeah, you're right, but you got a picture. You're how huge that Adam apple is. Like, I mean, are you gonna be able to like drive a car, do daily activities?
How big is this Adam's apple? You didn't specify. I thought you just meant like an irregularly large Adam's apple for a person, not like a goiter the size of a fucking basketball outside your throat, dude. Oh, hold on. Walk it back. How big's the Adam's apple?
I mean, it's probably about the size of, I'm gonna say, a basketball.
No, the other thing. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's huge. I wouldn't say a baseball, but I mean.
Other thing.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Would you rather watch Eddie Murphy or Bernie Mac?
Oh, Bernie Mac. I was never an Eddie Murphy fan.
Okay. Yeah, Bernie Mac was my guy. Bernie Mac. Never really got down with Eddie Murphy, but
yeah.
Cool. Would you rather read the same book for 24 hours or watch the same movie for 24 hours?
Movie again. Back to my previous book reasoning.
Okay. Yeah, most definitely. What's your favorite movie?
Empire Strikes Back.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, mine's is
right here.
Mine's is actually an older movie of Speed for some reason. I liked it. Speed? Yeah, Speed.
Classic.
Yeah, that was my movie. I watched it like maybe over and over back in the days, just rewinding the tape over and over though. But
a young Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
A young Sandy B, yeah.
That was cool. But yo, man, Adam, man, I appreciate you joining me here on the 1130 podcast. I thank you for playing the game and Would You Rather, man. Before you go, you have an awesome podcast. Can you tell my listeners and viewers about your podcast?
Yeah, man. So check out the Cult of Us podcast. It's me and my buddy Neil Wood, another comic. We sit around every week, shoot the shit, try to be funny, make you idiots laugh. We want you guys to join our cult of comedy, essentially. Our little cult following. So come on board. We're available everywhere. YouTube, all this, Spotify, iTunes, all the stuff. I also, if you guys are into sports, I also do a sports podcast called Slapstick Sports. I do with my buddy Jesse Pedraza. He's another comic, and we just goof around about sports and stuff. Again, if you guys are into sports. If not, check me out at Adam Nutter, Instagram, Twitter, at Adam Nutter Comedy on Facebook and TikTok. And I will be dropping that political podcast soon. So follow me on my social media for that.
Hey, that's what's up, you guys, man. Don't forget, man, follow my man Adam Nutter, you guys. Before you go, who's your team?
Giants, Rangers, Yankees.
Okay, New York teams. What you think about, what was your thoughts on the XFL before the pandemic?
I fucking loved it.
I did. I really did, man. Because the New York Guardians were doing their thing, man.
They
were.
Really
good. Yeah.
Did you see this new fan controlled league? It's like arena, but like fans get to call plays. Johnny Manziel's in it. Did you see this thing?
No.
It's like arena. It's like 7-on-7s with like a 3-man line, but it's called Fan Control League. And like fans, like at home, like you at home could watch the game and you get to pick the plays they get to call.
Oh wow!
It's like you're playing Madden, but with real players. It's fucking crazy.
That's crazy. That's really interesting. Gotta check that out though. But before you go, man, Adam, man, any shout outs, anything you would like to say? Any questions for me?
You coming to Philly anytime soon?
Am I coming to Philly anytime soon?
Yeah, get on that plane. Come to Philly.
I would love to, man. I'm from DC. I tell everybody, man, I really haven't traveled a lot. You know, I've been to, of course, Maryland, Virginia, and South Carolina. So haven't been to Philly, haven't been to New York, haven't been to California. So I would love to, man.
Yeah, well, if you're ever in Philly, hit me up. We'll fucking get you on the pod. We'll hang out.
Hey, that's cool, man. I appreciate it. I will. I most definitely will. But once again, Adam, thank you for joining me here on the podcast, man. Stay safe out there and stay blessed. Appreciate you joining me, man.
Thank you, sir.
No problem. Yo, my man Adam Nutter, appreciate you joining me here this week on the 1130 podcast. Dope time chatting with you, man. Really cool guy. You guys, man, go check out the Cult of Us podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Go check them out and go follow my man Adam Nutter. Man, great time chatting with you, man. From a comedian, you're really funny, man. really funny, and also playing a game of Would You Rather. Can't wait to have you back on your podcast, man. If you're in DC, we gonna link up if I'm there, because I would love to travel, man. So we got to do that, man. And also shout out to my guy Presteeje for joining me here on the podcast early in the show. Dope episode, you guys, man. Really dope episode. Already, man. We halfway through the week. It's Wednesday, you guys. But yo, before I go, you guys, man, don't forget to follow the 1130 podcast on all social media platforms. Follow me on Twitter at Dre on Wheels. Follow me on Instagram at the 1130 podcast. Like the 1130 podcast on Facebook. Subscribe to the 1130 podcast on YouTube. Yes, smash that notification bell so you don't miss an episode. And also, you guys, the 1130 podcast talk pro wrestling. If you're a wrestling fan like my guy Presteeje, you guys, and you're down with wrestling, like the Elimination Chamber was off the hook this past Sunday, man, each and every Friday, my wrestling podcast, because I'm going to be talking about Elimination Chamber this Friday. The 11:30 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling. Follow me on Spotify. Subscribe to me on Apple Podcasts. Leave a 5-star rating and review. You know how it go, you guys. And also, if you would like to be a guest here on the podcast, email me. That's the1130podcast@gmail.com. The1130podcast@gmail.com. Dope show, man. Dope show. Got to keep the consistent edit. Everybody out there, stay safe, man. And everybody, man, in Texas, man, for real. You're going to be in my prayers, man. You guys are going to be in my prayers. You guys stay safe, stay warm, and be safe, and be smart. For real, because there's a lot of craziness going on in the world. And that WTF moment, man, what? That's crazy. For real. But yo, man, see you guys, man, on Friday for my wrestling podcast. And I'll be back here on EB Radio and YouTube, you guys, next Wednesday. You guys, I appreciate everybody who's sticking with me and rocking with the 11:30 podcast. You dig, man? Yo, it's your man Dre, a.k.a. Dre on Wheels. And I'm out.